Good afternoon. So I'm back from my business trip, and while I was gone, I stopped at the big box hardware store, and I picked something up for the grow room. So let's take a look. Well, I picked up another shelf. I also picked up an extra shelf separately. The shelving units themselves come with 4 shelves, and I wanted 5. I'm going to set this up just like the microgreens set up with 5 shelves. So let's take a look at where I'm going to put it. So I want to put it right over here along this wall, the plastic covered wall, where I had onions previously here on the floor. I've got microgreen trays that I have cleaned up, and they've been sitting there for a couple of days now drying. But I want to put it here. So unfortunately I did find an issue with doing so. So let's take a look at that quick. So when I originally looked at this and looked at and measured this, I had thought that I could stick the legs up here. There's a bit of a crack in between the this fluorescent light fixture, and the floor joists here. There's enough room to get a leg in there. Then as they come down, I thought they would be able to fit right here on this side of this floor joist. This is where the problem lies. So I've got the extra shelf, and just holding this shelf up to the ceiling, so I've got the legs, the holes for the legs on that end positioned where they would be in between the light and the floor joist. When I look at this end though, the leg ends up right in the middle of the floor joist. So this is where our issue is going to lie, is what are we going to do with these, with the legs to make this fit. So a couple of options. On the hydroponics rack, we took and cut the legs down a little bit, which would certainly be an option. Although looking towards the future, I hate to shorten the legs and possibly change the ability to use the shelf in the future. So, next option. So I have to again go from this space here over to the edge of the floor joist. But in order to fit it in, Samantha's coming down to see what I'm doing. In order to fit it in, I need to go out here someplace, which I can do with the edge of the wall. But then on this end, the legs would land in the middle of the light. So the thought is move the light. So rather than having it in this joist bay, I'm going to move it over one joist bay and just reposition the light. That way I've got this full joist bay open for the legs on this side, and then the legs on this side will be able to fit in this joist bay here. So that's what I'm up to. I'm gonna get that done, and then I'll check back with you. Okay, so I got the light moved over, so let's reevaluate here and see what it looks like. So I've got the extra shelf again, and now if I put this up here, I'm probably about 3 inches past the end of the floor joist on this side, and on this end I'm in the middle of the cavity there as well. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. That should work. This light's not on all that much. Sometimes when we're down here working and the grow lights aren't on, then we do turn this one on. Otherwise, a lot of the times that light's not even on, so doesn't affect too much, but it is nice to have if we need it. So I didn't want to just take it out and not have it at all. Plus the switch is already there, the wiring's already there, so you know, I didn't want to just completely, in my opinion, be more work just to completely take it out than to move it over and leave it. So there we go. All right, next task, build the shelf. All right, well, with a little help from the eldest child, we got the new shelf all put together and set in place. It does definitely make the walk area of the grow room smaller. I mean, this is it. This is all we got here. Just this about 3 feet across is all we've got. But while it makes the grow room seem smaller and feel smaller, it definitely does give more rack space for more growing. So this rack, it is sticking up just a little bit past the bottom ends of the floor joists, both here and on that end, but that was how it was planned, so we didn't have to cut anything off. The light was moved over to accommodate that. So I do have some storage space. I can put a few things up top here, and then on the other side of the light on that end, we have 5 shelves on this rack, the 4 that it came with plus the 1 extra one. So that gives us the top rack to be able to hang a light from and have storage, and then 4 shelves below it. Now I was able to space these out 16 inches, so all of these shelves are 16 inches between. That works out very well so far. From what I respaced the microgreens, the shelf at, by the time you get a tray in there and the light, and you've got some adjustment room for the light. So now the next question is are we going to move the microgreens from here over? Or what are we going to do? Benefit of moving them over is this is in the center of the room. It's not up against the cold concrete wall. Should allow us to have 4 trays per shelf, whereas we found, at least now during the winter time, that we can only put 2 trays on each shelf, because otherwise they get up too close to the concrete wall and get too cold and they don't grow. So, you know, there's probably 6 inches between the tray and the concrete wall. So, you know, definitely could be more efficient here, because we're only having half of the production on each of those 2 shelves right now. So at least for the winter time, may look at moving over and having all the production over here, and using that for germination. I don't know. I did get 16 inches on the bottom shelf, whereas this one over here on the bottom is not. It's like 14, maybe 15. So, you know, that would be good. You know, maybe could do all 4 shelves here with grow out for microgreens. I don't know, more to come, more decisions to make, but the good news is the shelf is in place. It's here. We've got more grow room, and we can go on from there. So I think that'll end the project of the night. Need to go get some supper, spend a little time with the family, and get the kids ready for bed and ready for school in the morning. So with that, I'm gonna water the microgreens and call it a night as far as the grow room goes. So we'll talk to you later.